Namaste viewers, welcome to Gnana Degula channel. In this episode, we will try to understand the astrological meaning and in detail what is Prashna and then Hora Shastra. Hora and then Prashna, we will try to understand what is it. Prashna means answering a specific question. Now, before we go to the details, as usual, I request you to please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. Please post your comments after having gone through the video description completely. We have put the whatever that we have told in the description box also for the benefit of the readers who intend to read and then read for further this thing. Now, coming back to this subject, Prashna. Prashna literally means question. Prashne. In Jyotiṣa, Prashna is the system of Horary Astrology. This is used to answer a specific question asked by any person at a given moment. That means he wants to find out what is going to happen, something like that. The basic idea here is a sincere question is asked. In the moment, a sincere question is asked, and at that point itself, which is astrologically significant, and that is the sky at that instant reflects the situation and can reveal the outcome. That is how it is. They will study at that point what is all where all the grahas are there and then answer the question. So the question is when to use this question and then answer, when birth details, time, place are not known, are uncertain. For some people, might not have been recorded proper time of birth. So at that time they can use this option. And the second thing is for urgent, some specific matters, very specific matters. Will I get a job? Or I have lost something, whether it is recoverable, from where do I get that? And now some great deals, with a lot of money and other things. Should I proceed with that deal or should I drop it? Something like that. Very important questions when they are specific matters which are of urgent nature. This question and then answer. You question, then you find out what are all the grahas and all those things. And then the person who is well versed with all those things, he will answer you. That is how. So here the astrologer or the answer who gives, he casts a Prashna chart. He will cast a Prashna chart for the exact time and place of the question, or for the time of the astrologer receives the question. So he will exact time, place, everything he will map. Then the Lagna at that moment, the Lagna, when the question is asked, at that moment is treated as a natal ascendant. That is from as if it has come from the natal ascendant for interpretation only. So houses correspond to the life areas. The same thing as usual. 1 for self, 7 for partner, 10 for career. All those things are there, like that. It will be there. All those houses as usual, it will be there. Now, some of the rules and techniques are now rulership of the question. So that is, determine which house naturally rules the question. For example, job. If you are looking for job, a question on job something, the 10th house is the appropriate house for looking at that. For money matters, it is the 2nd or the 11th. For something litigation and things like that, for complicated things, it is 7th or the 6th position. And you examine the Lord there. You examine the Graha, the important Graha there. Then the occupant and aspects, all those things you understand, and then you predict. Now, the second rule is ascendant and its lord. That is central to answer. Very important. Health of Lagna, lord, that is Isha, Lagnesha, shows general viability of the matter. That is important. If it is strong, it shows some general how whether it is viable or not, something like that. Now, the third aspect here is Hora and Nakshatra. You will have to check the moon's nakshatra and the pada and the hora of the moment. So these color the emotional tone and timings. They give some kind of a picture. That is how. Now, the next aspect is significators. Like, Prashna Karakas, they call it as. Prashna Karakas means certain planets become significators depending on the question. For example, Sun for authority, Moon for mind, Mercury for trade, Venus for relationship, all those kinds of things will be there. The position of these, whether they are strong, whether weak, and all those things, that will decide the answer to the question. The fifth factor is some influences of bad and good, or malefic and then benefic, influences of these grahas, like afflictions, combustion, inimical aspects, occupancy by malefics. Some this thing will be occupied by malefic those things, graha. These indicate obstacles. Some benefic aspects also indicate help. So if they are occupied, they indicate some kind of a help. This is how it is. All these things are taken into account. Then you have one more aspect called as Ashtaka Varga or Shadbala. That means these are scoring systems which help weigh strengths quickly. You put on the score, and then if it is a high score, you can predict that it's going to happen. It's not. If not, you can predict that it might not yield a good result, like that. Then timing is also important. Short-term predictions can use Gochara Pala, Prashna Dasha methods which are tied to the chart. So there are some special rules regarding this Prashna. Like classical texts give many rules. For example, the house of the planet that rises in the 10th from the ascendant in the Prashna has immediate importance. Or the lord of the third from the ascendant indicates movements such as travel. So all these things, an experienced Prashna astrologer, Prashna Jyotishi, applies all this systematically and then answers the question. So now, everything has got its own strengths and limitations. The strengths are, it is quick, fast, useful without birth data. You don't have to have that. Excellent for immediate focused questions. You can immediately use this. Of course, there are limitations also. Must be precise about the time and sincerity of the question. So just like that, you could ask a question and then for something, and then it's the sincerity should be there while questioning. In the time, it is less suited to some deep life-wide themes, for which a natal chart plus dasha are preferable. This is only for certain things only you can use this. Now, let's move on to this Hora, the science of timing and planetary hours. They are also used as a general term. There are two related senses of Hora. Hora as a branch of Jyotisha. In classical Shastra, Hora often means the practical, predictive branch of astrology. It covers natal interpretation, Muhurta, electional astrology, Muhurta, then Prashna, predictive techniques. Brihat, Parashara, Hora, Shastra is the foundational text for this. Here, Hora means the practical predictive science. The second way it is looked at is Hora as planetary hours, measure of time. Hora literally means hour. Hour is from Latin hor, like roots in the shared Indo-European sense, they say, but it is purely a Sanskrit word. Anyway, in Indian practice, a Hora is a division of the day. It is a part of the day used for timing and evaluating planetary strength. Some planets have great strength at some period. This is how it is looked at. There is one Hora ruler also, like means traditional rule. The first Hora after sunrise, the first Hora which starts after sunrise is ruled by the sun. The next by the moon. So alternatively following the planetary order. The ruler of the Hora is thought to influence the affairs initiated during that hour. That is how this Hora ruler of Hora is. The significant factor here is this Muhurta. Muhurta is choosing some auspicious moments. Uses Hora rulership among many factors. This is also one of the Hora Sariya, like that, they go. For example, actions begun in a benefic ruled Hora, that is, for example, Jupiter or Uranus, Venus, they are considered auspicious. They are considered auspicious for certain activities, not all. Hora and the Muhurta and timing, how it is treated is, Muhurta is the applied art of selecting favorable times for actions, for certain good actions like marriage, housewarming, contracts, anything which has got some importance. That is the favorable times. Hora rulership is one of the many elements. There are so many other things considered, like others include Tithi, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana, weekday, Lagna, and the planets, dignity. All those things are Muhurta. This is also used normally. This Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana. All those things are also taken into account. Now, the Hora, this rulership, it differs by day and by sunrise, sunset divisions. Like, in day and night distinctions. In the day it is something, in the night it is different. Moon's and sun's influence alternates and affects emotional versus outward success aspects. All these things. This Hora rulership differs in the day as well as in the night. Now, you may ask, how Prashna and Hora work. They both are interconnected, or how they work together. A Prashna chart is cast and interpreted using Hora principles. That is Hora rulership. Nakshatra padas, Muhurta rules. All these things are all these principles, that is Hora, Nakshatra, Muhurta. So this is alongside classical Prashna rules also. Muhurta and Hora, they inform the timing of the event asked about. Prashna gives the it gives yes or no details, that's all. But both depend on the concept that synchronicity exists between the sky and earthly events, both. A particular moment represents the balancing point of causal and then acausal influences. This is how Prashna and Hora work together. So some small practical examples. Will I get the job I interviewed for? Supposing if it is asked at say about 10:15 a.m. in the city at a X city. Cast Prashna chart for 10:15 at city X. Note Lagna, Moon, Nakshatra, Hora, ruler, all those things you have to note it. First step is you have to cast Prashna chart for that moment, that is 10:15, 10:30, whatever it is, at a particular city, because there both the longitude and latitude, they all differ, therefore the Lagna timings, all those things, they differ. So at that point, note Lagna, the Nakshatra of the moon, Chandra Nakshatra, and then Hora, ruler, all those things. Now identify the house of that career. That is at that moment, that is the 10th house. See the 10th lord, house of the career. See the 10th lord, is it strong? Which planet rules interviewers or employers? Sun, Mars, Jupiter, depending on the context. If that lord is well placed and the Hora is ruled by a benefic and the moon, sign of emotional outcome, is in the friendly nakshatra, the answer is swings positive. If the 10th lord is combust, afflicted by malefics, and the Hora is ruled by a malefic, the answer leans adverse. It leans negative, or it is delayed, something like that. This is how you have to answer. Now there are some fine timings also. If the employer's sign is visible from the Prashna Lagna with benefic aspect, short-term success is likely, especially if the employer's planetary period dasha is favorable, like that. So normally all these things are based on certain patterns which reveal whether it is beneficial or non-beneficial, all those things, at that point when the Prashna is asked. So there are a lot of sources and practice tips here. The key texts are Brihat, Parashara, Hora, Shastra, Jaimini Sutra, Prashna, Marga, a classical manual on Prashna, Brihat Jataka, and regional commentaries. There are a lot of material for reference here. Some practical tips is record exact time, place for Prashna, note who asked and context, sincerity matters, because somebody, after all these things, it depends on your belief and then your sincerity. Use clear rules, identify the significator for the question first, then consider ascendant, lord, Lagna, lord and moon. Then corroboration. If Prashna and natal chart, if available, agree, confidence in the reading increases, like that, if the natal chart, that is Lagna Kundali, is available. So one word of cautiousness is always present answers with probabilities and possible timings, not rigid certainties. You can't have that. So to summarize, Prashna is Horary chart for a specific question, excellent when birth data are unknown or for time sensitive matters. Hora is the practical predictive branch of Jyotisha and the planetary hour rules used in timings, Muhurta, that is Muhurta. Both are time centered methods that use the sky at a precise moment to reveal outcomes. They are complementary to natal astrology and powerful when applied with classical rules and careful judgment. Viewers, with this explanation on this Prashna and then Prashna is question and then Hora, we conclude this episode. I hope this was quite interesting. Please like, share and then subscribe to our channel. Please post your comments after having gone through the complete video, talk completely and then post your comments. Thank you.